folks, we might be done. Not done, but we definitely have a working prototype, we could say, of some programmatic SEO, no coded using Google Sheets and Pabbly. It's done for the most part. It's finally, and I'm gonna walk through. So stick around. I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it, and how it's working and why it works. But first, we'll talk about some of the bad. So some of the bad is not necessarily bad, but that kind of sucked and really had me on stuck for a minute. So I use this plugin called Reusable Blocks Extended that adds basically a sidebar block, so you can you can manage your reusable blocks instead of just creating them and then having to go in and edit them in a post or something. You can edit them on the back end somewhere. So I have done this using reusable blocks. The problem that I was facing was if you use the short code that's generated, it doesn't pull like 80% of the Gutenberg or generate blocks like style choices. It doesn't pull the buttons. It doesn't pull the CSS, any of that. So that took me, I designed these really cool looking summary pictures and they just never worked. They just never worked. So I went back and now it's super. It was supposed to not look like an article. It was supposed to look like it was, a really great designed page instead of just a post that's generated. But, I had to go back and revert it. So now it looks like just articles. Not so much just text heavy articles, but there's more numbers and images and some iframes in there. And there's a little bit more going on than just 2,000 words of plain text. So sucks, but what can you do? So there's that. Now, how did I get it to work? I'll talk about that in a second, the spreadsheet and how I have mine designed. But it took me, as you can see, I was just exploring to see if they do have an affiliate program, but I don't think I'm going to join it. I'd rather just, someday I will. I'm not saying today, but someday. Or I'm not saying never, but not today. So this is basically just an alternative to, Zapier. Using this Pabbly Connect functionality. It's literally, if you know Zapier, you know what's going on here. The difference is it's a lot less expensive. Not that that's really a problem, but it's okay, well, if I can get the same exact results, doing the same exact thing, but pay, a quarter of the price, I'm going to do that. Why wouldn't you? It's not like Zapier has something that this doesn't, that I need. So using this and got a discount, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy the lifetime offer. Maybe, but actually I probably will right after this. But basically all it does is take a spreadsheet. I have it. When I have a trigger, when I have the trigger triggered, it sends the data to the website, publishes the post. It's using the reusable blocks, and here's what that looks like. So this isn't the spreadsheet, but this is just a copy and pasted bastardization of the real spreadsheet. So because I'm using reusable blocks, and that's how I'm kind of getting this gross combination going, I have in there the short codes for all the blocks. These are just some example blocks, whatever. So platform 1 and platform 2, and let me just extend this out real quick. So what it does is a giant concatenate formula with a whole bunch of VLOOKUPs. And what it does is I put in one of the platform names here, and basically it goes in and goes, all right, so first we're going to go, okay, so we're looking at platform 1, and then it goes down in order. We're looking for the summary of platform 1. Boom, we're going to plug that in, 76. And then it goes, all right, platform 2, the summary of platform 2, 228. Boom, it's right there. So if I switch these two numbers around, if I go 2, this will be 228, this will be 226, right? And if I put a 1 here, it'll be the reverse now. Not that it matters, but so okay, let me kind of switch things up. In the real spreadsheet, it's pulling from these two columns, not from these over here. This is just kind of how I was testing it before I actually implemented it into my real spreadsheet. But it'd pull from here, and all I'd have to do is I would just have to, does that, yeah, okay. So there we go. Platform 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'd be, platform 3, 4, 5, down the line. And as this gets populated, hopefully this is configured correct. Okay, so it's not. I got to put a couple of dollar signs in here because otherwise it's going to try to. All right, well, quick lesson in Google Sheets. So if I were to put a dollar sign in front of this G, as I drag and click and drag it down to populate, it would maintain that G. I think it is in this case. Yeah, it is by default. But as you can see, the 3, 4 now is G5. So if I put a dollar sign in front of this 2, see, it should stay G2 when I drag and drop it. So now it stays G2. So it's always looking at G2, which, I mean, for the case of this, how it's configured right now, that's okay. But it basically, I'd want it to maintain, whatever's in there. And that's how I have another spreadsheet set up where I don't have this. It's just, I was manually doing this part. So that's what a dollar sign does in Google Sheets and Excel, in case you were curious. So it doesn't work how it's supposed to, but it would. How it does in my real spreadsheet is it pulls from this column for the first VLOOKUP, and this column for the second VLOOKUP, and then goes down the line still. So it just builds those pages, builds those posts, pulling from these reusable blocks. It is a very simple, no code / maybe is Google, is Sheets or Excel, is that coding? I don't think so. So it's a no code kind of solution. And then the last thing I have is, well, it's not working right now. I don't think. Okay. So the title is a concatenation of the platform, or the 2 columns to the left, B10 and C10, B11, C11. Oh, okay. So check this out. Here's why you'd want a dollar sign in front of the first letter. If you're dragging sideways, then it'd go from B to C to D, E, F. So dollar sign for the second number if you're scrolling down, dollar sign for the first number if you're scrolling to the right or left, and dollar sign for both if you want to stay consistent no matter what. Anyways, so that's just a concatenation of those two. And then in the original, in the real spreadsheet, there's a little bit more going on after this, where it's comparing these two platforms, SEO platforms or whatever it would be. This is that. You can also put in text here. So you get, this is, oh wow, my comparison post. It is butchered, but it'd show up there. And then even though the great thing about short codes is, even though it's just one string of just short code down the line, it will still create a new line, had that whole block there, boom, block. I have a URL slug as well, because I don't want the title to be the URL slug, because that's what it would be by default. In when you publish a post in WordPress, it automatically just generates the URL slug based on the title. We don't want that. We want it to be specific, because again, the title has more data, or more. It's a longer string than just A versus B. It's A versus B, the best platforms for comparing the 2 SEO tools. Put the category in here, and whatever the category would be, that's self-explanatory. And then this last column, I hope this is set up correctly, so it should be. So this is kind of the trigger for Pabbly to say, yes, this is ready to publish. So what I just set it up, so as long as every single one of these columns is populated with data, it will publish that post. I have it set to draft right now, but once everything's dialed in and perfect, so it posts that. And all you would need here is set it in, boom, publish. Why? Yes. Okay. All it's looking for is something in that column. Boom, it's there. Shoom, off to the races. And that's it. Now, so all I have to do is, once I get a new platform in here, so right now it would just be platform 1 and platform 2. Let's see if hopefully we'll just fill it in with something. So these would not be here. It would be more like platform 1 versus platform 2, platform 1 versus platform 3, and then platform 2 and platform 3. Oh, okay. So, whoopsie daisy, 3. Boom. So that's what you can do when you have 3 platforms. And again, once I have the 3rd one and 4th one and 10th and all those built up, why? Boom, published. So it's kind of like right now, the categories tool or categories column is kind of like my last, I don't know, check before I want it published. Does everything look good? Are these, oops, I actually put platform 1 instead of platform 3 again. So double check that. Okay, no, it's platform 2 and platform 3. That has not already been created. So I put in the category, boom, it's published. And if I do, 30 of these at once and make sure all the combinations are good to go, put in the categories, boom, 30 are published. And I don't think I'm going to be like trying to manually index, like when you go to Google Search Console and you put in the URL and you go, hey, please index this page. I think I'm just going to keep this one super, for lack of better words, lazy. I think I have the Bing auto index API already up and running, so that's good. That'll automatically publish or submit these for indexation in Bing. I might do the Yandex. I don't foresee this website getting traffic from Google for a very long time. Not a very long time, but 6 months or so. But I think those other, DuckDuckGo, Bing, those typically rank the kind of stuff that I publish quickly, and it's not a huge amount of traffic. Those platforms are they're not as popular, not as widely used as Google, but it's still going to be some traffic. And then I also have Thirsty Affiliates Pro hooked up so I can see, who's clicking, what's like, is this traffic converting? What can I do to make it better? Do I need to put the whatever higher inside the summaries? Because again, there's going to be very, very, very little original text. And even the original text is going to be a boilerplate concatenation of the platform names and then kind of what the comparison is. So very low word count overall, just because how it's built. I might explore other ways that this can be done as well with just like a huge data set and then a huge concatenation string, basically building an article and then publishing it that way. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what's happening. But yeah, we are in there like swimwear. Now it's time to get platforms, get that information on there, get those blocks built, and start populating and publishing automatically. We're in there.